Let's talk a little football now, guys. It is the dead middle of the offseason, which means entities around the country are putting out lists. And the list we saw this week were ranking the best defenses in football heading into 2024. And two separate lists ranked the Cleveland Browns as the number one defense entering the new season. Bleacher Report was up first. Here was their top 10. The Browns at 1, the Jets at 2, the Cowboys at 3, the Chiefs at 4, the 49ers at 5. On the back end of the top 5, Steve, if you go to the next one, they had the Ravens at 6, the Steelers at 7, Raiders at 8, Texans at 9, and the Buffalo Bills at 10. The 33rd team on Tag Board also ranked their top 5 defenses entering the new season. Steve, you can take Tag Board whenever you're ready. The Browns came in at number 1, the Jets 2, the Chiefs 3, the Ravens 4, and the Patriots at number 5. We could ignore the other top teams, but let's focus on the Browns here. Are you buying the Browns to have the number one defense in football heading into 2024?
I mean, I'm buying that they're in the mix to be number one. I think it's stupid to say number one when clearly none of us are doing the homework on other teams. So how would we know? Like these guys, I'll say give them benefit of the doubt that they're doing homework on all the teams to know who they think is going to be number one. I don't know enough about the non-AFC North team's defense and the little pickups that they made this offseason to know, but the Browns were one of the best defensive teams last year, and so I expect them to be one of the best defensive teams this year, guys. But, you know, let's face it, they took advantage. A lot of their great defensive games were against poor quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They were trash on the road defensively, and they embarrassed themselves outside of JOK in the playoff game. So I think there are real questions about the Browns' defense, about how good they are. But despite all that, I still expect them to be one of the better defenses.
Yeah, they're not going to be the best defense in the NFL because of Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow twice. Like that is
Lamar twice.
Yeah, Lamar twice. It is a gauntlet. Tua.
Yes.
It is a gauntlet of the top quarterbacks in the NFL that they have to play this year. Just for that reason alone,
right.
They will not have the number one. That doesn't mean they can't be a very good defense.
Right.
Numbers-wise, they're not going to be number one.
Probably not, no.
Well, it depends on what you measure and how are you measuring it. Like what?
It don't matter.
Oh, it does.
Well, how are you measuring it?
How would you measure it to where they could come out?
Usually they measure it off of what, total yards given up in the season.
I think that's bogus.
So I would look at it as if you are top 3 in interceptions, sacks, average yards passing, average yards running, rushing, or in points. I think that's the points one is probably the biggest one. If you can be number one or in the top of 3 of all of those categories, you could be at a number one defense to me. I think they got all the personnel to be able to go up against those things because, yes, they're going to play this excellent quarterback play this season, but I think that if they address the pass rush as far as going on the road, because I think that was the biggest thing. If they can bring that same energy that they have from home and bring it on the road, they can be as good as anybody because we know that they can overwhelm them. I think some of the moves that they made in the offseason, getting Jordan Hicks as a linebacker, if JOK continues to climb, if Mike Hall comes in and plays a decent role, Quentin Jefferson.
You think Mike Hall's going to have a good role as a rookie?
Well, I think as a rookie, he's in an unbelievable situation because he's not asked to come in and be the starter.
Sure.
He's coming in and they're saying, listen, we want you in on probably obvious passing downs. We know that you're really good at pass rushing. So when he comes in, it's an obvious pass, and they're only telling him to get vertical, get up the field. Do your best move, get up the field. Don't think about nothing, just get up the field. That's all I want you to do. Flush the quarterback. And if you flush the quarterback, maybe you've run into Miles, maybe you run into Za'Darius. I think the biggest X factor this season is Za'Darius Smith, because if he can get back to what he once was, because he had a down season last year. If he brings that pass rush like he did before, and you get that from the interior, you'll really fluster these quarterbacks and make them make bad decisions. I think the secondary is good as long as they're healthy. When you look at it, they really got everything you need to be successful. I don't see why they wouldn't.
It seems like the Browns have something that not a lot of teams have, and this is banking on what I saw from JOK last year following up, is that they have a special player at all three levels.
Yes.
We know Myles Garrett's special. We know Denzel Ward's special. JOK was special last year. He's got to follow it up. Those guys have done it more than one time. But I thought JOK was special last year. So when you have a special guy at all three units, that gives you an advantage that a lot of teams do not have. I don't know how many other teams have that, but I bet you it's not very many. So that's good. They also have, especially on the D line and in the secondary, a tremendous amount of depth.
Right.
They have solid players going deep down the roster. My biggest concern really with the Browns defense is the age of a lot of their defensive linemen.
Yeah.
They got a lot of old guys, and we're saying like Zadarius Smith, the traditional stats were not great. The analytics were excellent. So what's the reality? And could he go off a cliff this year? I don't know.
I think
that's my concern is some of the age on the D line.
Mikey, let me see that the sack numbers from the D line again. I just seen it. Let me see what it was, because you got to remember now. The good news about them is the depth part, because they're going to rotate their defensive line. So if you're asking somebody that's 32 years old, hey, I just need you in there for 2 plays. Just give me your best for 2 plays. And you're getting out, we're going to give you a blow. That helps you.
Right,
so I think like Double O got hurt last year.
And he had
4.5 sacks last year, and he missed 6 games or something like that.
I think
so. Now that you got that, you got those guys that's rotating in there. It keeps everybody fresh to where the age part of it may not play that significant of a factor, because you got younger guys that's going to expel you out and give you a couple of blows. I love to see him get JOK more involved, though. That 3.5 should be a good 5.
Mike, how many games did Ogbo miss? Can you check that out?
I thought he just missed 4.
I didn't think it was 6, but
okay. What?
I don't know. You might be right.
Maybe it's 4.
I think it was the minimum, wasn't it, for an IR stay?
He played in 14 games, and he got hurt early in the one, so he missed 3 full games.
Oh, so he didn't go on IR then?
Yeah, because they.
No, remember they didn't put him on IR.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's
so
right.
he basically missed 4 games. Okay, to me, if the Browns are going to be a special defense this year, guys like Ogbo, Alex Wright, who had a nice end to the season, and maybe even Mike Hall, especially in the second half of the year, kind of like we saw. I know Alex Wright wasn't a rookie last year, but we saw him step up at the end of the season. Maybe that would be the same for Mike Hall this year.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting that much from him early in the season.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah.
But you need the young guys on the defensive line to make their presence felt.
Yeah.
And they've got to be impact players. And I think there's room for growth with all those guys, Ogbo, Wright, and certainly Hall, because he's never played. If those guys...
Well, what you see and what you're saying is that's the second unit that's coming in.
Right, but I think they're going to need it because some of the guys they're behind are older.
Right, but I'm saying they're not first snap of the game. That's not they're not going to be out there. So what I'm saying is when they come in, it's just for a couple of plays. Y'all going to be the younger guys, so y'all going to get 2 or 3 plays. We need y'all to go hard.
Yeah.
Like I say, Mike Hall and Quentin Jefferson, even though Quentin is 30, he was a productive pass rusher out of defensive tackle. So what did they do? Go get somebody else that's younger that can give you that same thing, and Mike Hall. Same thing with Zadarius Smith and Alex Wright. Zadarius can give you that. Maybe he can't give it to you for 4 straight downs. That's when Alex Wright comes in and he can be productive. When Myles need a blow, Double O can come in. They got the right pieces that can. Maybe they're not as great as the starter, but they can be productive and get you sacks. So I think they got to keep it going when their numbers call. Like I say, it's only going to be 2 or 3 plays because Myles is going to try to stay in for the entire time anyways.
But in a perfect world, guys, either Alex Wright, Ogbo, Hall, one or in a perfect world, all 3 of them play so well in training camp, play so well in the preseason, play so well early in the season that they force their way into the starting lineup, and then the veterans got to take a back seat. I think in a perfect world that happens because that means their game has gone up so much.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, if we see Alex Wright with 8 sacks and Ogbo with 7.5, and then Zadarius is still at 5.5 or whatever.
It just needs to be consistent. Myles is going to do what Myles does. Myles got to finish the season because we all know that he fell off, and that not
every
just
year,
not just him, the entire offense,
right,
the entire
but
defensive
line. As he goes, they go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he needs to put together 17 complete games where he's out, which is hard. It is hard to do as a elite pass rusher. It's hard to do, but you want to be like TJ Watt and you want to be up there with the top in the game, which you are. But you gotta admit that he fell off a cliff last year towards the end of the season, and it allowed the rest of them to do the same thing. If they put together 17 games and Alex Wright doesn't take till Miles falls off to step up, like they can get way more sacks than they had last year and be way more of a difference maker. And they're gonna have to be because they're going up against all these good quarterbacks. That yes, you got the secondary that can hold their own, but they can't do it for 4 straight quarters in all these games in a row.
It's the final flaw of Myles Garrett. Mike did a deep dive into this last year, Jason.
Yep.
Every year he tails off at the end of the season. Every year. There's been no exceptions.
And we tried to make excuses for it last year as it was happening.
Yes.
But
the numbers. The last 2 years, hasn't he dealt with like a shoulder injury? Because the car accident was 2 years ago, and last year, what was it last year?
It was a shoulder again.
Yeah, it was something shoulder. So he gets hurt. And if you can't say that doesn't play a factor.
Of course
it does. But the numbers are the numbers.
That's true, too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
In your guys' opinion, Tyvis, if it is going to be a young guy to supplant one of the veteran edge rushers, who's most likely to make that jump? Is it Alex Wright? Is it Ogbo? Is it Isaiah McGuire? Any of these guys in the defensive tackle position, Michael Hall, who's most likely to surpass one of the veteran guys?
I'll take Alex Wright.
I'd take Double O.
I'm with Jason. I'd go Alex Wright.
I'd take Double O. I think Double O is, for him to have 4.5 sacks and only play and miss essentially 4 games.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
But is he big enough to be a 3-down player?
Well, they only tell him to come off the edge.
No, but Mike's
Alex Wright is going to. He was a run stopping guy first. He's like I say, when I look at them, you got your pass rusher on this side. You got your guy that puts a stop sign on and that nobody can get outside on the other side. More of a run stopping guy. You can say that. You got Miles as a pass rusher. Zadarius is more of the run stopper. When you go to the second unit, Double O is a pass rusher. Alex Wright is more of a run stop guy. But he took the next step by becoming a pass rusher last year because technically he had to because Double O really wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
So the pass rush had to come somewhere. I think that if you give Double O a full season and you tell him that he's just a full-out pass rusher, he will be much more effective because he ain't going to think about really stopping the run.
I like him too, but to me, Alex Wright, of anybody on the Browns defensive line, and I might argue anybody on the defensive roster outside of JOK, was most improved from the beginning to the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's why I'm kind of high on him heading into this year. All right, Mike.